Hello and welcome. I'm Craig Harrington, and today's topic is the forgotten debt. America's unfunded obligations are infamous around the world. We have a foreign-funded outstanding national debt of well over $11 trillion, more than half of which was accumulated by the Bush administration in just 8 years. We have unfunded entitlement payments to Social Security, Medicare, and other national programs, which David Walker, the former Comptroller General of the United States, estimates to be in excess of $50 trillion. We have consumer debt, which has seen Americans take out roughly $9 trillion in credit and home equity stakes in the past decade. All of these are well known and heavily discussed. However, there is another menace facing the United States which is almost completely overlooked: the trade deficit. Every American knows that the United States government runs multi-billion-dollar budget deficits every year, but very few realize that the trade deficit is just as high as the budget shortfalls. During the Bush administration, the government accrued an estimated $5.6 trillion in budget deficits. Over the same time period, the economy as a whole accrued an additional $4.8 trillion in trade deficits. The United States has not witnessed a positive outcome from international trade since 1976. 33 consecutive years and counting. In 1970, 1973, and 1975, the U.S. economy gained marginally via international commerce. In every other year from 1970 to present, the economy lost. Over the past 4 decades, the total loss by the U.S. is roughly $7.1 trillion. We cannot sustain a growing economy if it loses money at the end of every fiscal session. According to AmericanEconomicAlert.org, the trade deficit through just the first few months of 2009 is already over $185 billion. If the previous yearly deficits from 2005 to today are any indication, we should expect another year of incredible losses for the U.S. Obviously, the economy has grown since the 1970s. There is more money in the system today than ever before. However, that does not mean there is more value in the system today than ever before. The increase in the money supply is largely due to inflation more than any other factor. Since leaving the gold standard in the mid-70s, the Federal Reserve has been pumping dollars into the system faster than it could count. Meanwhile, the top of the economic bracket has accumulated more and more wealth in what could be the largest shift in income in history. The fundamentals of this economy are not strong. It favors the rich and ignores the poor. It borrows money which it cannot pay for, and it allows major tax loopholes to be executed by clever elites, while low and mid-level wage earners pay extra every April, as if the government didn't already tax them enough. The government can always find ways to make it seem like the economy is growing when it really isn't, but the trade deficit does not lie. A country with a balance of trade surplus is growing, such as China, Japan, Canada, or the European Union. A country with a balance of trade deficit is not growing, and no country in the world carries a deficit like the United States. In fact, no 5 countries combined carry a deficit like the United States. We need to address the deficit immediately and with decisive action. It is the vehicle through which most countries acquire our currency, which they then use to buy out our remaining valuable assets. It is the vehicle which has created the economic superpower that is China, and has allowed despotic potentates to oppress the masses in oil-rich nations around the world. Most importantly, America's trade deficit represents job losses on an unparalleled scale in the manufacturing sector. If we continue to let this go unabated, it will bleed the U.S. economy dry. If we hope to survive as a nation, we have to institute energy, import, and manufacturing policies which boost employment and production domestically, while lessening the outflow of our jobs and our capital overseas. On behalf of concerned citizens, I'm Craig Harrington. For more on this and other related topics, please log on to economyincrisis.org.
Wake up, America! Open up your eyes! Wake up, America! Wake up!
Produced by economyincrisis.org.